Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host Phil from underKG.com, and today we got Galaxy A9 Pro, sold as Galaxy A8s in some of the Chinese regions, including the mainland China and Hong Kong. But internationally, they call it the A9 Pro. It seems a little misleading because although it does have faster chipset, Snapdragon 710, it also lacks many features that the A9 even has, like the always-on display, 3.5mm headphone jack, and the microSD card expansion slot. And this does have 4 cameras, although I don't really count much on it. But again, when was Samsung ever consistent on their naming procedure? So here we go with the A9 Pro. On the packaging, it says 2019 because it was released in 2019, and on the back, we have a few of the basic features. Infinity O, which is a punch hole camera thing that everybody calls it, and triple camera, 120 gigabytes of storage. You can choose between either 6 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of RAM, depending on the region. You might not get both of the options. Opening up the packaging, we have the Galaxy A9 Pro packet, a very small one, along with a free transparent case, which is a very good thing, so you can start protecting your phone from day one. And the quick start guide, data transfer guide, and that's pretty much it. Nothing inside there aside from that. And under that is a little paper piece to protect the phone against any scratches on the shipping. And finally, the phone. We're gonna leave it right there. Under that are the typical goodies, namely the charger, adaptive fast charging, so 5 volts 2A or 9 volts 1.67A. And there is a cable, USB type A to type C. And the headphones with the little unwelcome feature of a USB-C ending on one side. So this is not your typical headphones, at least in the mid-rangers. Flagship has been dropping the headphone jack for a while now, and I wouldn't have been surprised for any other manufacturer, but Samsung, I was counting on Samsung, and Samsung dropped it with the A9 Pro. And one part that I'm even more angry is that they didn't even include the converter. Anyway, back to the phone. What you see over here is 6.4 inches of a Full HD Plus LTPS panel. That's a punch hole camera right there of 24 megapixels. That's pretty high in resolution. And on the right hand side, you got the power key volume rocker. On the left hand side, you got the Bixby button. Yes, the Bixby button, uncustomizable Bixby button is there along with the SIM card tray. I would normally call this SIM card tray plus microSD card expansion slot, but this does not have such slot. It only has a SIM card tray along with the covered secondary SIM card slot because this is a single SIM model. And even if you get the dual SIM model, you will not gain the capability to add up your microSD card. It does have a relatively big storage built inside. It's 120 gigabytes, and they had to kill it for some reason, probably because there's a camera right next to it and they were lacking some space. I don't know, but I definitely deem this as an unwelcome change. All right, enough with the chit chat. Turn on the screen, and here we have a pretty clever live wallpaper. There's like a wave coming from the farther edge with the camera, and it tries to cleverly hide that. Anyway, unlocking the screen in its position, the front-facing camera, and when you go to the white background, it becomes more noticeable. And most of the third-party apps are going to try to avoid intruding that part of the screen, and that makes the status bar a little thicker than on the other devices. And if you're wondering about what happens when you play video full screen, it looks like this. They cut the top part, the top line with the status bar, and even when you zip it in like that, the space is still empty. But if you want to fill everything up, there sure is an option to tick the specific app to make it full screen. So with that option turned on, the video is going to look like this in full screen with the camera cut out, not showing anything because that physically is a camera right there. So flip the screen and you'll have the camera cut out on the right hand side top. And even more interesting, just like in the notch devices, you can actually hide the camera area. You can just not use the top part entirely and just use your phone like that, just like that part never existed and never had any screen. I assume this is for some kind of compatibility issues, but this sure looks very funny. All right, enough with the front. Now let's take a look on the back. There are triple cameras on there, not quad like the Galaxy A9, they lag the wide angle. So on top is 10 megapixels of 2x zoom telephoto lens. In the middle is f1.7 of normal angle lens, that's 24 megapixels. On the bottom is 5 megapixel depth sensing lens, so that cannot take a photo by itself. You have to combine with the main lens to take the bokeh live focus images. And under that is an LED flash, obviously, and the fingerprint sensor that you can also use it for the gesture control, Samsung logo, and that's pretty much it. The rear glass panel actually looks pretty good. It's a weird combination of black and green, and this on the photo didn't look that mesmerizing, but in reality it is a very interesting color. There are some brighter hues as well, so if you're in for more, I don't know, pop colorful colors, then you can opt in for that. And since we're talking about the camera, let's get into the camera app. You can choose between auto, live focus, and scene optimizer with that AI things, and you can swipe on the screen to turn into selfie mode, and you can just see a little glow on the screen as you switch to the selfie cam, letting you know where exactly the selfie cam is. So there, right there. You know, I've seen that gesture where you can swipe from the camera to launch the front-facing selfie cam, but I can't do that. Maybe they dropped the feature in the international version, perhaps because they figured out it's not the smartest idea to let people intentionally smudge the camera when they're about to use it. Some interesting features are still there, like navigation bar. There's full screen gesture, so you can just swipe on these buttons to replace the navigation bar. And as I said, there is a fingerprint sensor gesture, so you can swipe on the fingerprint sensor to pull down the navigation bar. And there is there is no lift to wake. The Galaxy A9 had it. I don't know why they dropped it, but there are actually a few of the features that they dropped it from the Galaxy A9. So the vanilla A9 has the always-on display. A9 Pro doesn't because of the LCD nature, but some LCD phones have that. There's micro SD card slot. There isn't. It's got quad cameras. It's got triple cameras. It's got the headphone jack on the bottom. It does not. So honestly, I don't really see much of the Pro aspect on the A9 Pro, but it does have faster chipset, Snapdragon 710, Snapdragon 660. And it is the same price, around $450 US in most of the regions, so I don't know. Oh, and I just found out another one. It doesn't have the screen color mode. On most of the Galaxy phones, there is screen color mode, so you can adjust the color tones and the RGB settings, but the A9 Pro does not have that. Why? Do LCD phones not need that? They do. All right, that was an unboxing for the Galaxy A9 Pro. There's some interesting features. Anyway, I can't really judge the phone for its unboxing, so I'll go ahead and get back with the review very soon. Till then, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. You can always meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.